India's financial intelligence unit says that 9 crypto exchanges are operating illegally. The two best known are Binance and Kraken. This would have been a Matt story, I think, most weeks. And when I saw it, I went and checked the docket and was like, is Matt doing this one? I'm like, oh, I can do a crypto story.
Yeah, this one slipped by on me, but I'm glad you covered it. Crypto people are weird. Some of them are probably really are bad guys who are laundering, and they really did move over. But some of them just they may not be doing anything wrong at all, but don't want to be tracked or something.
If you're going to have these regulations, they have to have teeth. Otherwise, the companies that follow them are just going to get screwed. On the date of this recording, New Year's Day 2024, and New Year's Day every year, many works entered the public domain. Today, however, Mickey from Steamboat Willie and the silent version of Plane Crazy are included in that list. I think the people from 1928 that did things have made their money on it by now, or they haven't. Like, it's a long time.
Well, probably dead, so
Right.
If they haven't made their money.
Hey everybody, how the tech are you? I'm producer Dave. I am the co-producer of this show, which is crazy to say. I am the producer, the sole producer, kind of all the other shows at Echoplex Media. Just check out our website, echoplexmedia.com, where we have Echoplex Media. I got 2 stories here this week. First one is about India. The Indian government, India's financial intelligence unit, says that 9 crypto exchanges are operating illegally. The two best known are Binance and Kraken. There are 31 crypto firms that did register with the financial intelligence unit. When those 31 crypto firms registered with the FIU, many traders maybe went away to those other 9 firms that did not to avoid taxes. One of those firms that registered dropped over 90% in their trading and just customer base, probably to one of these 9 firms that didn't register. And the exchanges to be blocked are simply not in compliance with Indian money laundering regulations. And in the past, Binance, the founder CZ, had said that India is not a crypto-friendly environment. This would have been a Matt story, I think, most weeks. And when I saw it, I went and checked the docket and was like, is Matt doing this one? I'm like, oh, I can do a crypto story.
Yeah, this one slipped by on me, but I'm glad you covered it. But I don't know a whole lot about India's market, but I have heard that exchanges were struggling in India. And I'm assuming that exchange that dropped by like 90% of their traffic, like they were probably wholly in India, as that's their only place. And they probably were trying to abide by the rules and regulations in India. And crypto people are weird. Some of them are probably really are bad guys who are laundering, and they really did move over. But some of them just they may not be doing anything wrong at all, but don't want to be tracked or something, or feel like they're being tracked too much.
Yeah, it's some of it. I think some of it, you're right. I think less of it was probably that the organized crime was like, well, we can't crime here anymore. And more of it was probably some sort of like ideological problem.
But you may have been right. It's like a lot of it may have been taxes. I think India has a big problem with people skipping out on taxes in various ways. I mean, and hiding money in informal economies and stuff like that.
I mean, that's every country, but I think there's a big difference too when people like aren't paying taxes through informal economies on like cash only purchases of like food or something that are happening in India. There are still like small villages. India isn't fully like the United States or Europe yet. They're on their way there, but I think there's a big difference between those sorts of informal economies, like almost like where people are bartering or using cash to buy like, goods that they need, like an onion or something, versus versus crypto, which is going to generally be people of a higher socioeconomic class, generally from the cities or the suburban areas. So I think that, those are two very different things. And I would imagine that a country like India would be more inclined to want to crack down on the latter. The former, you would have to, embed people in these small villages to find out who's selling the illegal onion for cash. And that seems like a lot of work, and you're just going to ruin somebody's life and you're not going to get anything out of it. So, there's rumors that this CZ guy, that this Binance is going to get hit by the US or Europe pretty soon. So
no, he's already been hit by the US, and don't know if he got fined, but he has stepped down as CEO of Binance and is not allowed to involve himself in crypto, I think, in the future. I don't know. We haven't covered that, I guess, but he's out. CZ is out of Binance.
Well, maybe I was hearing that that people think that the regulators in Europe and or the US are are coming for Binance now, like just more broadly.
Yeah, I think they came to some sort of settlement and they're supposed to be getting into compliance now. But yeah, Binance was found to be like, supposedly they weren't running in, United States a while ago. They pulled all operations. They had like a Binance US. I think they dropped that just because they didn't want to go through all the work to come into compliance with the US regulations. And what they started doing is like, oh, they're saying on one hand, oh, we're not a US company, we're not dealing with US citizens at all. And then on the other hand, they had like websites up and different places on information of how to get around, the blockages, the geofencing basically of the US. And Binance was basically get a VPN and change that VPN to have you come out of Russia or China or something. I don't know where they're coming out of. I think they're Hong Kong based, but yeah, so that's how they're getting around the regulations, and people are still using Binance from the US. So they're like, hey, you can't do that. Like, we know you're doing this.
Right. Because at some point, there's got to be a way for them to figure out, hey, wait a minute, why is this person using a Visa card? Or like,
yeah.
Like, I don't know what the deal is, or, this seems to be a VPN.
A lot of it was VPN. I don't know how you transfer your bank account, money from your bank account over, but I didn't go into that much detail on my research.
Right.
Because I don't use Binance. Anyway.
It's like, it's crazy because these companies, it seems to me, these crypto exchanges want the benefits of being like a legitimate financial institution without the responsibilities of being a legitimate financial institution.
Yeah, well, specifically, almost certainly Binance did. Some of the other exchanges, I won't name names, like some of them are actually trying to be in compliance. They don't like to jump through all these hoops, but they do it to stay in compliance and be in good faith, try to be in compliance.
Yeah. Well,
so they continue doing business.
You're not going to meet, the banks don't like the regular banks don't really like all the regulation they have to go through either.
Right.
But, in order to do a bank, they do all the bank regulation. It's weird. And, India has a whole other set of problems I don't really want to get into right now, as far as the government being heavy-handed, but this doesn't really seem like one of those cases.
Yeah. I don't know the regulations in India. Everybody always complains about regulations, so you can't really like say, oh, India is probably going too far, but compared to the United States or something. But no, like everybody complains about it, so who knows if it's really that hard or not. I mean, it sounds like some exchanges actually did do the right thing, but they didn't grow.
Yeah, they lost all their, and I mean, it makes sense then that the places where all the assets went, that the government would be inclined to just be like, well, we got to shut you down now because all these other people went through, it's an investment to comply, right? It was an investment to register yourself with this, financial intelligence unit. And so these companies made that investment. What they saw from the investment was a massive loss. And so it's like, if you want to, I'm not even sure if like being fair is the right way to talk about it, but yeah, if you want this to be I guess fair, well, then you gotta, if you're gonna have these regulations, they have to have teeth. Otherwise the companies that follow them are just gonna get screwed. That was my first story. My next one is a lot more fun, actually.
Okay.
We're gonna free the mouse here. On the date of this recording, New Year's Day 2024, and New Year's Day every year, many works entered the public domain. Today, however, Mickey from Steamboat Willie and the silent version of Plane Crazy are included in that list. This is a big deal here. Also included is an early version of Minnie Mouse, and other notables include works from Virginia Woolf, W.E.B. Du Bois, and one of my favorites, M.C. Escher. The coolest thing, though, I think, that entered the public domain was the German composition of the three-penny opera original song, Mac the Knife. I love that song. It's a very cool song. Someone has already trained an AI with the 1928 Mickey, Minnie, and Pete, and there is a horror game coming out featuring the 1928 Mickey. Ironically, we're not running the trailer for that because of copyright. But for Mickey, things are a little more complicated, and you can't just pass off your drawing even of the old Mickey, of him as like Disney's Mickey Mouse, as it violates trademark law to do so. This is something to keep an eye on, because I think no matter how this shakes out or what people try to do or how much they try to follow the rules here, I think Disney's just going to sue goddamn everybody who tries to use this. What do you have to say about this, Matt?
Yeah, there's been a lot of info and a lot of different, YouTube creators are talking about, and different people, including last week tonight, they did a big thing earlier in the year because they saying this is coming up. They're off at the moment, so we'll see what happens in the new year. So one of the tricks is you kind of mentioned it, but didn't go into the details. But Disney had been they've been lobbying and extending copyright year after year to keep basically Mickey Mouse copyrighted, and then they suddenly dropped it and stopped doing it because they have made a trademark. One of the things they've done is taken the Steamboat Willie and made like a logo out of him and trademarked that. So you got to be real careful, like what you're doing with it, and like how you could be infringing on the trademark. And there's a lot of questions on how that's going to work out. Is that trademark now just going to be the new copyright protection for Steamboat Willie? In the original Mickey Mouse. So yeah, there's a lot of other stuff that just went into the public domain, including, as I found out, there is, and I don't remember the name of the film. There's like this German expressionist film that just went into public domain, and part of it is apparently it's a fairly scary, interesting movie, but part of it is the main character has a permanent smile, kind of like this grotesque smile on his face. And that's important because that was used as sort of the prototype for the Joker in the original Batman comics. So I think it's original Batman comics, that one of the versions of it. So like the base for that, I mean, they look really similar. It comes from something that's now out of copyright.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't think that in prior years I've looked to see what entered the public domain. Just in my opinion, this is absurd that we're going all the way back to 1928 and that things are still under copyright for that long. I think the people from 1928 that did things have made their money on it by now, or they haven't. Like it's a long time.
Well, probably dead. So
right.
If they haven't made their money.
Right. But what I'm saying is like 50 years, like you've either made your money on something or you haven't.
Yeah.
And
right.
Having copyright extend for this long is simply a cash grab by big corporations, because individual creators, might not even be around 50 years after what they made is, was made, and they don't have the wherewithal and the resources to go after people who use it anyway.
Right.
So, but it's neat that the Mickey from Steamboat Willie is now technically in the public domain. Yeah. It'll be fun seeing people try to test this, and I think we're going to be following up on this later over the course of this year, because I can't see Disney not just suing goddamn everybody. I just can't see them not doing it. Yeah. Like you said, on the trademark, they're just going to say, well, now you're infringing on the trademark.
Exactly. But I don't know how specific that is, right? Trademark is supposed to be a lot more specific than copyright.
Well, right. Like a trademark would be like your name, or like a logo would be trademark.
Right.
Copyright, it would be for Steamboat Willie, the video.
Yeah. Yeah.
As it were. So this will be interesting. Good luck to the person who trained the AI on this, and good luck to the people who made a video game with terrifying Mickey. Good luck to all of you.
Yeah.
I guess
we will follow up on all this.
Oh, it will be everywhere this year. It will. Yeah. 2024 is going to be an interesting year for a lot of reasons, but I think the tests of this are going to be very interesting. People who cover creators and media, as well as people who cover technology. And I think we're going to be hearing lots more about this. It'll be interesting to see what the courts do, like sort of when the rubber meets the road here.
Thank you, everyone, for checking out the How the Tech Are You weekly tech news show. If you want to check out our other shows, you can do that on echoplexmedia.com. And if you want to support us, you can do that on eplex.store or patreon.com/echoplex. Don't remember to like and subscribe and leave a comment down below telling us what you like, what you didn't like. We want to hear what you think. Have a great tech and week.